my name is Rachael from Lotus Wellness Center in Muncie, Indiana. Today I'm going to show you some modifications for basic yoga poses during pregnancy. River is going to come into a traditional child's pose for us with her knees together. She's going to extend her arms up the mat. And you can see here River's really stretching through the side body, elongating from her hips all the way down the side body to her fingers, very active through the hands. Now I'm going to come into a modification for child's pose. So you saw River had her knees together. Because of space for the belly, I'm going to spread the knees apart really wide, maybe even as wide or wider than the mat. Big toes together, and my hips are going to rest back, and my forehead comes down, activating through my fingertips again. And so I'm really long through the side body, just like River was, but I have space for the belly. So if we're starting in a child's pose and our knees are apart, we're going to tuck the toes. Bring our hands underneath our wrists, pressing into my hands and feet at the same time. I'm going to press my hips up and back. Now because of the belly here, I sometimes walk the feet apart a little bit and put a lot more bend in my knees so I can tip the tailbone up and back, really pressing away from the mat so my side body is long. During a regular flow class, a lot of classes go from downward facing dog down into a chaturanga and an up dog or maybe a cobra. And I'm going to show you how to modify that for pregnancy. River is going to demonstrate for us how to get into a normal flow. So we're starting in downward facing dog with the hips up and back. She's going to exhale herself to a high plank, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, exhaling down to low plank, elbows in, and inhaling up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, and lift herself back to downward facing dog. Because plank during pregnancy really uses a lot of the core, we're going to modify that even and take it all the way out of the flow. So I'm going to start in downward facing dog. My hips are up and back, and I'm going to exhale down to my hands and knees. Hips back again to child's pose, and then I'm going to come into Sphinx, bringing my wrists, my elbows underneath my shoulders, arching through my back. So I'm getting a little bit of that back stretch that River had with her up dog. And then tuck the toes back to downward facing dog. River's going to demonstrate a traditional pigeon pose for us. So starting with her leg all the way up, extending her back leg nice and long. And so we can rest up high like River is now with her throat really open, chest open, and shoulders down. Or maybe she comes into a sleeping pigeon, dropping down to her elbows, forehead resting. So if you have a couple of yoga blocks nearby, that might be helpful. You can also use stacked books, folded blankets, or pillows. So I'm going to come onto my hands and knees and pull one knee in between my hands. And I'm going to bend in my back knee. River's back leg was straight, but I'm going to modify with the bent knee. My hands are firmly on the floor, and so I can rest here, still getting the stretch through the hip that I'm looking for. If I'd like to come down, blocks can be helpful because the belly is in the way here. So I can bring them to my forearms, or maybe even rest in my hands and my head. River is going to do our example of a traditional boat pose, starting on her belly, and she lifts, pressing her feet into her hands, and then maybe lifting the knees and the chest. She's got a really nice arch here, and the pelvis is firmly placed into the floor. River was flat on her belly, and because of baby, we won't be doing that. We're going to start on the hands and knees. I'm going to demonstrate one side, and be sure to do both. So we find our balance with the left hand placed into the floor and the left knee, and I'm going to tuck the left toes. And I'm slowly going to shift the weight over to find that balance, lifting my knee and my hand, reaching back for my ankle. Once I feel secure, maybe I lift the foot a little bit higher, opening up all the way. reason why we can't do a regular forward fold is because of the belly. So I'm gonna start with my feet a little bit wider than hip bone distance apart, standing up as tall as I can. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, flat back is gonna bring me forward, and I'm gonna rest my hands on my knees. I still have plenty of space for the belly here. Maybe bend just slightly. Our second variation could be with our feet much wider apart, about the distance of your mat or further. Inhale the hands up, and this way we have a lot more space for the belly. We exhale, flat back brings us down. Bend your knees a lot more and dangle all the way. The crown of the head points towards the floor. Let everything go.